Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of WossyRadio, so today we have reached the second round of the Dragon Gym Challenge. Now, all the round one games are linked in the description. I will, encourage you to go check that out. But in round one, we saw Joe's Metal deck take down Chip's Lightning deck. We saw Shai's Fighting deck fall to Adam's Water deck. We saw Toby's Darkness deck take down Kenny's Fire deck. And we saw Eric's Grass deck besting David's Psychic deck. And now we're back with round two. In this first game, we have got Joe and his Metal deck using products like this. Because do remember, it is Dragon Shield who are doing this tournament with us. And he is going to be playing against Adam. Adam being, of course, the chap that went through the qualifier and round one, using water with products like this. I know, I'm a little bit excited. Usual format, 2 of each card, not 4, no GXs, no Prism Stars, no Pokemon Vs, and you're only allowed to use your colour or colourless, but it must be more of your colour. Do remember we have banned Metal Frying Pan, which means Joe's not allowed to play it. Sorry, Joe. So grab yourselves a nice cold beverage, sit down, relax, and enjoy the first game of the second round of the Dragon Gym Challenge. Okay, so we've got Joe and his Metal deck on the top. We've got Adam and his Water deck on the bottom. The finalists for the Dragon Gym Challenge 1 up against the qualifier for the Dragon Gym Challenge 2. So, this is going to be an interesting matchup. Now, Joe starts Duraludon. Duraludon is awesome. Duraludon's got to be what Joe's looking to start with here. Duraludon lets him get a bit of damage on the board while also accelerating some energy. He's going to want Duraludon early. Now, Jirachi, of course, good starter, helps him get set up. Maybe Jirachi would have been better, but Duraludon's still a good starter. Black Kyurem for Adam? I would say a bit less so. Black Kyurem is not... look, 2 energy, 30 damage, discard a special energy from your opponent's active is nice, but it's not like Joe's playing a bunch of special energy here. Now, the main thing with playing this is 200 damage if you have a stadium in play, but that's something you want to be using in the mid to late game once you got set up. Now, we do see a Pokemon communication coming down from Adam here, and this is going to help him get set up. Now, we saw in the first game, he was not able to keep Snom on the board very often at all. We saw that Shai was just running through all of his Snoms, and it really did take till quite late in the game for a Frostmoth to actually come out here. Is Adam going to go for that here? Is he going to try getting this earlier? No, he's going for Inteleon. And we saw that change from Adam in game 1. We saw him starting off going, right, I'm going to go full bore Frostmoth, and then changing and going, no, you know what? Inteleon, evolving into Drizzile lets me search out any trainer card I want. And then evolving into Inteleon lets me search out any 2 trainer cards that I want. So actually, I'm going to be better served here just going for Inteleon early game and then bringing out Frostmoth slightly later. So we do see an energy on the Black Kyurem. It's going to be awkward, honestly. That Black Kyurem is not going to come out of the active very easily. He does play a copy of Air Balloon, but he's got to find that one copy of it. Then again, Drizzile and Inteleon will help. He's unlikely to get the energy on to really get rolling too quickly. And let's not forget, Black Kyurem is an ice Pokemon, not a water Pokemon. So there is a weakness to Metal there that Joe is going to be able to take advantage of. So we see Pokemon communication there, putting an Alolan Persian back into the deck. And he's going to try and find himself something to start with. There is a very good chance this is going to end up being a Minccino. Remember, Cinccino is the draw engine Joe's going for. He might be going for a Jirachi here, but honestly, going for a Jirachi is going to depend on how easily Joe can get Duraludon out the active. Duraludon has a retreat cost of 2, and Joe's going to be doing 60 damage while accelerating an energy if everything goes right here. All he needs is an energy for Duraludon, energy in the discard, and a Pokemon to accelerate energy onto. So there is an excellent chance here that Joe is going to be doing good work with a Duraludon, so it might be in his interest to just go for Cinccino. Jirachi's amazing, but Jirachi's amazing if you can get it in and out of the active, which is far from a given here. So, interesting to see, and I don't know what Joe's hand is, and I always say this when I'm commentating. We're acting with imperfect information. I've not had a look through Joe's deck to see what's prized. I have not been able to look at Joe's hand. What we actually... okay, that explains it. So, Joe's got a Capture Energy, which gets him the Minccino. He goes for the Galarian Meowth there. Of course, we saw an Alola Meowth being played by Toby, and this is really, really cool from Joe here. Because... he spotted what I've spotted, and that is that Duraludon does 30 damage, which Double with Weakness does 60. Two of those attacks is 120, and Black Kyurem's got 130 HP. So what Joe's doing here is going, well, I'm actually a tiny bit short, but Galarian Meowth's got an ability that searches Galarian Persian, or dropping a scoop up there and a Metal Sorcerer is not what Joe wanted from that research there. So I can guarantee the Galarians... too many games in a row. I can guarantee the Galarian Persian next turn, which means I will get a KO on the Black Kyurem. That is really cool. And we actually see Joe gets a Pawniard and a Jirachi, both off the Professor's research. This is looking really good for Joe here. That has been an excellent start. Now remember... we see some heavy hitters over on Adam's side. He's got the white Kyurem that can paralyze, the black Kyurem that can do 200 damage. He's got Frostmoth to accelerate energy, Inteleon that can hit the bench, etc., etc. So, and that is a dice weak die we can actually make out the damage on. Thank you for that, Adam. So, bearing in mind, Adam is the winningest person in this tournament so far. Adam has already won 4 games to get to this stage. Joe's only had to win 1. Although Adam did have a Darkness deck in the qualifier. I did say this before, but essentially we had to start getting some of these games going and start sending out some of the packs, like the mats and sleeves you can see on screen now, to the players. So we assigned the winner of the qualifier Water before the qualifier actually took place. So had the person with Water won the qualifier, they would actually been able to keep their deck. So we do see a Capacious Bucket coming down here, searching 2 Water Energy, and then we actually see that Adam is immediately discarding those 2 Water Energy while playing Guzma and Hala, and that is going to allow him to search his deck for a Special Energy, a Stadium, and a Pokemon Tool. So this is going to help him out quite nicely here. I like the play here. He's going to need that energy at some point, but he doesn't need it right this second. Now, the problem is... oh no, actually, Joe did go and put a Capture Energy on Duraludon, so that Black Kyurem is going to be able to do a bit of damage and discard that Capture Energy. Now, I rather suspect Joe's not going to care too much about the Capture Energy, but it is at least going to slow him down a tiny bit. Now, we do see a Viridian Forest coming down. That's going to get some energy for either player. And a Capture Energy as well. I would not play... I don't know. No, I think you've got to not play the Viridian Forest here. Because if he plays a Viridian Forest, it guarantees Joe the KO, because Joe can use Viridian Forest to get the energy and Alolan Meowth to get the Alolan Persian. Then that will be the KO on Black Kyurem. I think Adam is better off here saving the Viridian Forest for next turn, and maybe he's going to be able to get something rolling. Although, there is no Snom on the field for Adam here, so he's not using Black Kyurem's big attack next turn. The only way he can use Black Kyurem's big attack is if he's actually able to get a Frostmoth out and get a couple of energy down on the field. But that's not possible. Now, he does get himself another Sobble here, but Sobble's not going to get the energy. Oh, Big Charm! Is that going to make a difference? No, that Big Charm's not going to save it. The problem is that the Galarian Berserker... I think I might have said Persian. It's very easy to get them confused. So that Galarian Berserker here is going to add 20 damage, which means Duraludon does 50, doubled is 100. The Big Charm puts Black Kyurem up to 160. So that Big Charm is not going to save Black Kyurem from being KO'd here. And playing the Viridian Forest is going to guarantee that Joe's got the energy he needs to attack with Duraludon. So unless Adam's got something up his sleeves here, Joe is going to get the KO on that Black Kyurem next turn. Now, we do see the damage, and we do see getting rid of the energy. This is why I think Viridian Forest was better left for a turn. Because if Joe whiffs the energy here, then he whiffs the KO. But as it stands, I mean, Joe's got to discard 3 cards from his hand to pull this off, let's be clear. Although if one of them's an energy, it's really not a big deal. But Joe has got everything... Excuse me. Joe has got everything he needs on board right now. He can discard 2 cards from his hand to search for Galarian Berserker. He can discard another card from his hand to search for the Metal Energy. And he will get the KO on Black Kyurem, leaving Adam with just 2 Sobble on the board. Now, we do see a Great Ball coming down from Joe here. And he actually hits a Galarian Berserker off the Great Ball. I love that. Because as much as Joe could have... Oh, and there's another Capture Energy! You're only allowed to play 2 of each type of energy. Or 2 of each type of card other than basic energy in your deck in this format. So he's hit both his Capture Energy. Now Joe's got 2 Pawniard on the field. So that is going to basically set up his attackers moving forward. He's got the Minccino and the Jirachi there for consistency. He's got the Galarian Berserker there to do a bit of extra damage. This has been a phenomenal start from Joe. And things are looking quite bad for Adam now. So that is going to KO the Black Kyurem. The Big Charm, unfortunately, not enough to save it. So Sobble goes into the active for Adam, but Adam's going to need something here. And does Adam play Rare Candy? I'm just going to double check his deck list here. I don't believe he actually plays Rare Candy because he gets a card when he evolves into Drizzile, a trainer, and he gets 2 when he evolves into Inteleon. That does give him a fair incentive to not bother playing the Rare Candy. And a lot of the time it ends up not being an issue, but it is an issue here. Because Joe's rocking the Duraludon. Now, the chances of Joe getting a KO on the Sobble are extremely slim right now, unfortunately. He needs 2 energy on that Duraludon. He's already lost 1 Metal Saucer, but Metal Saucer only works on the bench anyway, or only attaches energy to the bench. We do see a tag call getting a couple Cynthia and Caitlyn from Adam here, and we do see the Cynthia and Caitlyn coming down. That's going to recover a supporter card and allow Adam, to draw 3 cards. And he needs something fast here. Because he is at risk of just Joe setting up and running through his entire deck. That is a potential risk. Looking at the board state now, that could happen. And it's something that Adam needs to try and avoid. And Adam's been crushing this tournament so far. He went 3-0 in the qualifier to make it in. He got through the first round against Shai, and Shai is a pretty gosh darn good player. We do see Capacious Bucket coming down, getting another couple of energy. The thing is, Joe can potentially get a KO next turn it depends if he can retreat. And to be fair, that attack from Black Kyurem might come in big here. Because Duraludon's got a retreat cost of 2, so had the energy stayed on there, then Duraludon would have just been able to retreat. But as it is, Joe's going to need 2 energy. But remember, Metal Saucer is in play. And essentially, Bishop there does 120 if there's no damage counters on. So if Joe can get Duraludon out the active, plus a Bishop and an energy, that will allow him to get the KO on the active Sobble. And at this stage, that's essentially what Joe needs to do. He needs to steal the name of a banned Transformers card, he needs to press the advantage. He needs to try and make sure that he is going after Sobble and just stopping Adam setting up. If Joe can take a couple more prizes, because even if they're swapping prizes back and forth, if Joe takes a 2 or 3 prize lead, and then they're swapping prizes back and forth, Joe was going to win that game. And remember, Joe hasn't played his Metal Core Barrier yet. And that was the big thing that really allowed Joe to dominate his round 1 game. Just making sure he just was never giving up KOs. He beat Trainer Chip in round 1, I believe, and it was just a case of, Metal Core Barrier reduces damage done by 70. Oh, he's got the scoop up net, ladies and gentlemen. He's got the scoop up net. For anyone that's wondering, Bishop does need a Metal Energy. But now he's got the Jirachi in the active. Oh, he's got the energy and he's got the Metal Core Barrier. Oh my goodness, that was a redonkulous hand. Uses Scoop Up Net to pick up the Duraludon, losing the energy. Puts Jirachi in the active, he's got the escape board. Puts the energy on Bishop, which he's evolved up into. Gets the Metal Core Barrier. He gets the Chinchino off of the Marnie. And now it really is all on Joe at this stage. Joe is basically saying, look, I'm taking out your Sobble. I'm going up 2 prizes to 0. And not for nothing, but you're going to have a Sobble with an energy. And you don't play Rare Candy to get an Inteleon. And even if you did, I've got an effective HP of 180 this turn. It is going to be very difficult for Adam to come back. Joe's deck here has just gone off this game. And I'm not sure if Adam is going to be able to make a comeback from this. That was just... This turn, I mean... He has literally got the best case scenario. He's got the Chinchino, the Bishop with the energy and the Metal Core Barrier, Jirachi in the active with an escape board. I mean, the only other thing he could have got, I suppose... Oh, he didn't have the energy, but he has now. The only other thing he could really get was a Metal Saucer and a Bishop for the Pawniard on the bench, and that's a bit excessive. He did, however, get a Metal Goggles onto the Bishop. So now the Snom comes down from Adam, and Adam does have a... So Adam is not out of this. Let's be clear. Adam is very much not out of this game at all. He plays a Great Ball down. He's going to go and get himself a Pokemon from the top 7 cards of his deck. Now he gets himself a Black Kyurem. And here's the thing, right? Oh, and a Rosa. That's a good card. Gets him a trainer, a Pokemon, and an energy if one of his Pokemon was KO'd during his opponent's previous turn, which obviously it was. We just saw the Sobble go down. So, this is basically it, right? If Adam is going to make a comeback, if Adam is going to start turning this game around, it's probably going to have to happen in this game, in this turn. This is the turn where Adam can basically turn around and go, right, well, now I've got a setup and I'm taking some prizes, etc., etc., etc. Now I can roll from here. So Rosa gets the energy. Love the energy, incidentally. Old school energy. That either shows Adam as an old school player or a player with old school tastes. Either way, I'm in. But the problem is, even though he's got the Rosa and he's got the Drizzle and Inteleon that he can use to start building up those trainers in his hand, at this stage, he just needs to attack and start taking prizes. He's not KOing that Bishop. He can, incidentally, but it's going to take a Black Kyurem. Now, White Kyurem can do it. Oh, now I do like this. This is where Adam can start potentially coming back. He gets the White Kyurem, and he gets the Evolution Incense to get himself a Drizzle, and he's got an energy here. Having said that, let's say Adam does, and White Kyurem is, getting big KOs. Let's say Adam starts taking big KOs. He cannot just prize trade with Joe here. Joe is up by 2 prizes, and Adam's not taking a prize this turn. So he needs to start taking... And the problem is, even though he's playing a water deck, he's actually gone for a bunch of Pokemon that are weak to metal. Because White Kyurem is also weak to metal. So we haven't seen this very much in either of the Dragon Gym challenges so far. But it really does look like weakness might play a big part in... And that's always a risk, incidentally. It's a risk in the real tournament. I mean, when I was playing through the Players' Cup recently, I was playing an Excadrill Spiritomb deck. And in qualifying, I went 15-1 against Pikachu and Zekrom decks. And then in the tournament proper, I took out 2 Pikachu and Zekrom decks. Weakness can have an impact in tournaments. And the thing is, I mean, water, you don't think of water as traditionally having a metal weakness. Not a lot of them do. It's only the ones that are ice types in the game. It just so happens that Adam chose to go for a bunch of metal weak Pokemon, and that has come back to haunt him. Now, Adam does pop the Black Kyurem active here. Of course, the Metal Core Barrier does fall off at the end of the turn here. The problem is, that Bishop does 120 while there's no damage on. So Joe's going to go ahead by 3 prizes here. And then all he really needs is a couple of attackers to finish out the game. And he's got Duraludon and a Pawniard here that he can start building up. So what can he do here? I mean, Joe's got a prize this turn. That's a given. Joe is going to get a prize on the Black Kyurem. That is going to happen. The issue here is, can he set himself up for future turns? So he drops some money to draw 2 cards with a Chinchino. And that's all Joe really needs to do at this stage, incidentally. For Joe to close out this game, it really is going to be an issue of just trying to make sure that he's got enough attackers to finish out. He's very much in the driver's seat here. There's no multiple prize Pokemon here. It really is on Joe to lose the game at this stage, taking the lead he has. So we do see an energy going on to that Duraludon. Now, we did see him drop an energy, and there is still a Metal Saucer in his deck. And next turn, now Adam can start taking prizes next turn. If he gets a Frostmoth and drops 2 water energy onto White Kyurem, he'll be doing 160 damage. And Joe, now if Joe can get a Metal Core Barrier on that Bishop, he will survive the KO. But he needs to get the Metal Core Barrier onto it. Last turn it ended up doing nothing. This turn it would guarantee that he survives the KO from White Kyurem. Not Black Kyurem, but both of them are going to be in the discard, so Adam can get them back, but it would end up being super awkward. Doable, but awkward. So we do just see Joe take a KO here. Up comes the Drizzile. So that suggests to me that Adam is not confident he's going to be attacking with White Kyurem. So we do see an Evolution Incense. We knew Adam had that. He had it last turn. Gets the Frostmoth. Gets the Inteleon. And now Inteleon will search him out any 2 trainer cards. And now he's actually going to be able to attack. Adam is going to get an attack off this turn. Well, assuming he's got 2 energy. And I think he's played both his Capacious Buckets, so it's not a given. Although, it's kind of likely, if I'm honest with you. But the Inteleon here, I mean, it does 120 plus 20 to... Oh, Energy Retrieval, however, will absolutely do it. And there's a Marnie here as well. But this is... He's going to do 120, which is... Okay. So he must know he can get that into... Oh, he's got the energy to get the Inteleon out the active. Now we see Energy Recycle System, which gets energy from his discard back into his deck. And this is looking good. Adam is... See, I'm stuck in 2 minds about how I think about this. Because he's got the Marnie as well. On the one hand, Adam is really starting to make a comeback here. He's starting to get rolling. On the other hand, he's 3 prizes down. Now, had Joe got the Metal Core Barrier last turn, or saved it for last turn, things would be looking very different, but he didn't have it. Which means Adam gets a KO with a White Kyurem. Inteleon's got a retreat of 1, so it will be able to retreat. And Joe doesn't actually have an attacker set up right now. That Duraludon ain't getting a KO. Plus it needs 2 energy on... Well, it needs 2 energy to get a KO. To be fair, a Metal Saucer energy would do it, and he can always promote the Jirachi and retreat it after getting the energy on. So maybe he can. Or he can get an energy and a Bishop. Joe does have a couple of outs to get a KO on White Kyurem, but he'll need a couple of cards to deal with either of them. And this is essentially the chance for Adam in this game. The chance for Adam in this game is Joe whiffs a KO for a turn or 2. Adam catches up on prizes, and if that happens, things will start looking different. The problem is, because Adam went down by 3 prizes, he is relying on Joe whiffing. If Joe gets a KO this turn, then Adam is back in that awkward situation of he then needs to start getting some stuff rolling to get a KO, and he's still 3 prizes down, except Joe has only got 2 to take to win the game. So for Adam here, it really is just hoping Joe whiffs. Now we see the Great Ball coming down. I mean, really, Joe here's looking for a Bishop. That's what he really wants. Gets the Bishop, that's good. So now, with an energy or a metal saucer, Joe will be getting the KO on White Kyurem. And that is almost enough for me to call the game for Joe at that stage. Incidentally, I love Adam's deck, focusing on the white and black Kyurem and Inteleon with Frostmoth. I absolutely love it. It's just in this game, it's taken a turn or two too long. Also, I'm putting these up as YouTube live premieres, so everyone who's watching this as a live premiere on YouTube, could you please write something nice about Snom in the comments right now? Because who doesn't love Snom? So we do see Professor's research coming down. That's going to give Joe a new hand. You'll notice he did get the energy onto the Bisharp initially. Honestly, at this stage, Joe just needs to hit a Metal Saucer. If Joe can hit a Metal Saucer onto his Duraludon, that is going to give him 2 of the 3 attackers he needs to close out this game. Now, one of the things Adam could have done had he got going earlier was actually start using Inteleon to drop damage onto those Bisharp and Pawniard. Because remember, Bisharp only does 120 for a single energy if there are no damage counters on. And sure, Joe can put stuff like Metal Goggles down, but you need to get it rolling before Metal Goggles goes down, is what I'm saying. It's a moot point, it didn't happen, but that's something that could have changed the game around in the early game, really forced Joe into those free energy Duraludon, which makes life a lot more awkward. Now, we do see Lana's Fishing Rod coming down here. We know Joe's going for Metal Core Barrier, because that is a lot of what Joe's deck is. A lot of what Joe's deck is basically going, look, my Pokemon are beefy-ish, but actually, by the time I start using Metal Core Barrier and then recover, because he's playing 2 of those and 2 Lana's Fishing Rod to give him access to 4 of them during the game, and essentially what Joe's doing here is just making it so that his energy and his Pokemon are just staying around, and I love that. So now we see a couple cards draw with Minccino. You did see Joe pick up the energy with Mount Coronet there. We'd see Jirachi using the ability. And honestly, I mean, for Joe to guarantee this game, he needs a third attacker. That's what he needs at this stage, a third attacker. Because he's got 3 prizes left to take. And although it's looking, he does hit the Metal Saucer. That's huge. Because now he can get Duraludon with a free energy on, and he's got 2 of the 3 attackers he needs ready to roll. There is it's an unlikely scenario, but there is a scenario here where Joe takes a prize, Adam KOs an attacker, Joe goes down to 1 prize, Adam KOs an attacker, Joe has no attackers ready to go and do any kind of decent damage, and then Adam rolls to victory from there. I don't think that's terribly likely, but it does, and you saw Joe put the Pawniard back in his deck using Lana's Fishing Rod. That was not a coincidence. Now, we do see a Galarian Meowth hitting the field here. Galarian Berserker, incidentally, is not a great attacker. It's there for the ability, but maybe if there's an extra 40 damage coming down, that might make a difference. The other thing to bear in mind, Galarian Meowth does 20 damage for 2 energy, but it does hit weakness on something like a Frostmoth, so you never know. Now, we do see Wimpod coming down here and a White Kyurem, so Adam's got the attackers. The question is, does he have the time to get them rolling? And you can see here that this game, it's starting to turn to Adam having the attackers and having the KOs and having the things that he needs. But unfortunately, Joe is still 3 prizes up in this game. Now, we do see the energy coming down onto Wimpod here. Now, remember Golisopod is a very nice attacker. He actually plays, Adam does, triple acceleration energy just for Golisopod here. It does 180 for a single energy if it became active this turn. And that's why we see triple acceleration energy in Adam's deck. Only a single copy of it, but you know, that's enough. So we do see Snom coming down. Now, Adam needs to be careful here, because that Snom could be KO'd by a Galarian Meowth at this stage, or it could be KO'd by a single energy Duraludon, and that would give Joe an easy third attacker. But also Adam's fully aware that if Joe takes out his energy acceleration, then that's going to also similarly lose him the game, so he kind of has to bench another Snom, really. He's not going to bench it now, is he? He's going to make me look foolish. Now, it looks like Adam is actually attacking with Wimpod here, which is not ideally what you want to do. This Wimpod for a single energy, 10 damage, if the defending Pokemon tries to attack during your next turn. Flip a coin. If tails, that attack doesn't happen. Is it going to save Adam? Maybe not. And it is the defending Pokemon, so if Joe were to be able to get out of the active here and put a new Pokemon in the active, that would go through that, and Joe would be able to just attack and get a KO. But Adam had no attack on board. He needed to buy himself a turn. Incidentally, Joe's got the Mallow and Lana for the switch. So up goes the Jirachi, uses the ability, and it's not just that Joe gets to switch and turn it off, because remember, now that Bishop has gone to the bench, it is now counted as a new Pokemon. So Joe gets around Sand Attack, and he gets to use Jirachi's ability. Incidentally, I don't know did he grab anything off Jirachi's ability? Either way, it doesn't really matter. We see the Metal Core barrier onto the Duraludon, which means we know Joe's got another energy here. Mount Coronet will guarantee him the energy. So there goes the energy onto the Duraludon. And unfortunately, that has basically given the game to Joe here. Because now, Joe needs to get a KO onto one thing to win the game. And he's got two attackers. So even if Adam takes out an attacker, Joe has still got... And that was Adam's choice, Adam's chance to win, basically. After Joe took such a commanding lead, Adam's hope was basically that either Joe whiffed attacks or whiffed attackers. He needed a couple of turns of Joe not being able to take a KO for him to claw his way back into the game. And Adam's done everything he can here. Adam's played this game very well at the end, getting the attackers out, getting the Frostmoth, etc. But unfortunately, it's just not paid off. And I don't really see any way for Adam to come back here. Joe is now 4 prizes ahead. And he's got 2 attackers on the board. Adam's not playing any kind of decking out stuff. So I don't really see what's happening here. Now we do see a fire energy coming down onto the Inteleon, which means he's going to be able to do 120 to the active, 20 to one on the bench. But remember, he's not actually doing 120 to the active, he's doing 50 to the active. Because of the Metal Core barrier. Now, Inteleon does have 160 HP, but if Joe's got a boss's orders, which he does, that is game. Congratulations to Joe, really showing the power of his metal deck, showing what a great deck builder he is. Commiserations to Adam, got all the way through the qualifier, got through round 1, gave a great account of himself, really did have himself a good tournament, but unfortunately... Joe takes this stuff really seriously. Joe does metagame analyses of these formats before he makes his deck, and Joe just showing there the power of Metal Core Barrier combined with those metal Pokemon. So we now do have our finals lineup confirmed. We've got Eric, we've got Joe. We'll be back in 3 days with the final. You know the deal. Comment, like, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. Check all the links in the description. You know this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Look after yourselves till next time. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTC.